What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you feeling? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. It's 2/26/25. And y'all know what season it is. It's Pisces season, baby. It is Pisces season. We are off to a wonderful season. You know, people in great harmony, they enjoying themselves. They doing their thing. You know, it's our season. It's what we do. So um yeah. Turn it down. But what's happening? I'm happy to be back. It's a good day. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Everybody enjoyed their new day today? Everybody in good spirits? Everybody, off to a great start? How y'all evenings looking? How Pisces season going for everybody? Because even if you're not a Pisces, you could have been born with the Pisces moon or a Pisces sun or something like that. Learn your stuff now. Learn your stuff. Let me leave y'all alone. I know everybody hate when it be our season because they say we a little bit too much sometimes, but I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So today's topic today is staying focused. We're gonna we're gonna talk about a few things that actually work around you staying focused and what things that actually can cause a distraction and that what are you doing to stop distractions and things of that nature. Um so yeah, we're gonna talk about staying focused and all those things today. And within the staying focused concept, there are things that can throw off your attention to detail. There are things that can wreck and ruin how you see things and how you don't see things. So how and those and they have diagnosis for those things like ADHD, anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. But for the people who don't suffer from mental illness or any type of anxiety or anything like that, then it may just be a focus thing for you. So that's why we're going to talk about staying focused today, because it's going to give more of a prevalence to the fact that everything isn't about someone saying that you ain't focusing because you got something going on in your head, or all you autistic, or you got this, like the words are thrown around a whole lot looser these days, and then it makes people start to not have that soft spot or that whole spot that they're supposed to actually have for people who are ADHD or autistic or going through anxiety, depression, and all those things. Because then you start to like, oh, it's just the norm. How we done got when it come to shooting and stuff now. People just like, oh, it's just another shooting. We don't want people to get to that point. So um when you're not actually suffering from something and you just taking it on as you are, we want to change that. We want to change that. We want to look at that differently, and make that picture a little bit better, for especially when it comes to that, because you don't want to take away from somebody who actually has those issues. um so quote of the day. Let's see. Let's put it on the screen. Don't let yesterday take up too much of your today. Yeah, I get that. Is that understanding? Yeah. You feel where that's coming from? If you don't, it's basically just letting you know that if you're holding on to too much of what happened on yesterday, then you probably can't really focus on what you need to focus on for today. So take the time to give yesterday its space in yesterday. Now, if it's things that have to roll over to the next day and it just has to be that way, then that's different. But if you're taking something into the next day that you really had no control over, or that you can't fix, or it's just not feasible and things like that, just let it stay where it was yesterday. Let it stay. There's no need to try to take on a problem that couldn't be fixed. Now you living in the past, and you need to be focused on moving forward. So a lot of times we do that. We will take things that bothered us or represented what we were feeling yesterday and let that be a whole ration to how we start the new day. And that's different because you don't want to go into a new day with so much built up anxiety and tension from the day before anyway. You want to release some of that. You don't want to be some you don't want you really don't want to be dealing with that type of stress. That's very stressful. It's a very, very stressful time. It's a very, very it's an opportunity where you can't really shake back because you keep getting caught up in that situation. Put the message up earlier. So yeah, you wanna definitely let yesterday stay in yesterday. All right. Don't start off your today with problems that you couldn't fix yesterday. Leave them right where they are. Let's do that. All right. Um, let's jump into the topic. Stay in focus. Yes, sir. All right. So what causes poor attention to detail? What is one of those things that actually make you not focus? Um, and all people can experience poor attention to detail or have trouble focusing sometimes, and it contribute some of the factors that contribute to that is your lack of food. You may not have had good nutrition for that day, so your focus could be thrown off bit in a huge way if you haven't had any nourishment. Being tired or having poor quality of sleep, so not resting, not taking good care of yourself, is another way that your focus can be thrown off, and it becomes an irritable thing. You focus that way, especially when you're talking about being tired and having a poor quality of sleep. You can't even, your day is going to be just like constantly a reminder of the fact that you didn't get good rest. You're going to constantly feel it throughout the whole day because you're lacking in areas where you should be moving and grooving and getting your job done. Whatever that may be, whatever that look like. Don't get caught up in the fact that, yes, I can hang out and I can do this, but what it boils down to is, can you do it and continue to keep doing it and get up and go about your day? Because you gotta go about your day. You gotta stay focused and do your job, right? You gotta do that. Being stressed, feeling worried or anxious, being distracted by something in your environment. All of those things are ways to take away from your focus and your attention to detail. Big ways. Like you some of the things that you think that you have control over, you really do not. Excuse me. Some of those things you do not, and then all of those things kind of sounded like something that was controllable. Being hungry, being tired, of having poor sleep. We don't know. Do you have another job that's keeping you busy, or you just a night owl and it's keeping you up at night? Being stressed. Those are things that you probably can control depending on what the stress level, what the type of stress that is. Same thing with being worried or anxious. You can control how you react, but it doesn't always stop how you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, everything about these particular factors still come boil down to the fact that once it becomes something that's in your head, it's there. Now you're actually more concerned with how these things are going, regardless of how you should be handling them. You're more concerned with what's happened. Oh my God, I'm so stressed out about this. I'm so worried about that. You're more concerned with that now because you have thrown your attention level off. So we're gonna talk about how to stay focused. Let's jump into some reasons on why you should, 10 reasons as to why you should stay focused. Have coffee in small doses. If you're a coffee drinker, don't be a person who has to sit up and drink the whole cup of coffee or the whole liter of coffee. Have it in small doses because it can impact your ability to focus. It can make you anxious. And anxious isn't always a good thing when you're trying to actually sit and give something a little bit more focus. Anxiousness is actually probably working against you more than it is with helping if you're hyped up, if you're hyped up beyond another level. Certain situations cause for you to be a little bit more calmer. So if you're in a situation and you're supposed to be calm, but you hyped up because you on this coffee, or it could be effective. It could be very effective. The key to taking advantage of caffeine cognitive enhancing properties is just to only consume it in moderation. All right. You and that's with anything that has a whole lot of caffeine. If you're drinking soda, if you're drinking caffeinated tea, and I think a lot of tea is caffeine free, so you're good with that. But if you're drinking a lot of things that require caffeine, then you're gonna have those jittery after effects. Um, Put a lock on social media. If you're a person who utilizes social media throughout your day, you're going to have to give yourself more time to focus on your activities for your job versus social media. So that means you're gonna have to put it away. You're not gonna have the opportunity and the time. One thing that I do like about the fact that I don't, where I work at now is a place where the reception isn't that powerful, and it helps me focus more throughout the day. I don't have anything else distracting me like that. It don't matter if a notification come in, I can't go look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because the reception gonna take 20 minutes to take me to the full throttle of the notification. By that time, something else has happened. So I like those things. I can see all that when I get off. It'll be there then as well. Fuel your body. Give yourself healthy things throughout the day. That helps you stay focused. Your focus is not just built upon not thinking about certain things or taking certain things out of your head. Your focus is bigger than that. Your focus is to actually you things that you have to do to keep your focus is way more derivative than what you think, is what I'm trying to say. Like, that you have to eat healthy. You know that in order for you to do this or do that, you have to have a good diet, because otherwise if you do not, then you're gonna have hunger and anger, and that's a major focus derail. That's a major focus derail. What's going on, sis? How you doing, my dear? When you're trying to balance lean protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats to stay fueled, you got to have the nuts, you got to have the fruit, you got to have the veggies, you got to have all those different things in between meals, so that you are, while you're doing your focus and while you're trying to put together what you're focused on, you have nourishment. An empty stomach almost is like an empty mind. You can stay focused for a little bit of time, and then next thing you know, you like, man, nah. So your focus has to be really derivative of what you're trying to do. You can't let it bother you to the point where, oh, I can't even. I'm sitting up here. I'm so hungry, even though you need to be fed, but you can't let it be like, I'm so hungry I can't do it. We still have to find ways around of doing things, but a good focus is going to make sure that you fueling your body the right way. A good focus is going to make sure that, like, you're gonna definitely get more done if you're doing the things that you're supposed to do to get more done. All right. Miss Marquisha, howdy. She says true to that. So getting enough rest, that's a huge thing, a huge component. And I'm starting to have to make sure that I remember that I take my the bed. You know what I'm saying? Because what ends up happening is that I don't want to move. But I can shake it off easily, though. That's the difference between me and worried about it. For, like, I can't sit up and just be like, oh my God, I'm sleepy all day. I just can't do that. No. Once I know that, okay, it's time to get on up and get your day started, that's just that. It is what it is. My focus changes. Now I'm here. But you got to get enough sleep. It's no secret that the majority of Americans are lacking in the sleep department. We are, because we having to work too hard. While a few nights of minimal sleep is okay, not getting enough sleep most nights of the week can negatively impact both your short and long-term memory. Who knew? Why we already have issues with our memory as we're aging. Don't go to get into a point where you lack in sleep and it's bothering your memory even more. Who knew? All right. So to boost your sleep health, try to make sure during that the course of your day, you're avoiding caffeinated beverages. Off you switch off and put away all your devices and stuff. Give yourself time. Um, take time to wind down. Keep your bedroom cool and quiet. Those are good ways to get some good sleep, I'm telling you. And keep it dark. And for people who that like to sleep in masks, I can't really sleep like that. But if you do that so you can have a better outcome to your sleep. Instead of SMART goal. So when I on one of my prior podcast episodes, I talked about focus before, but in a different way. But the SMART goal was a key point on focusing that day. And if your lack of focus results from feeling overwhelmed by a complex project, try breaking it down into smaller parts and plugging the smaller steps into a SMART formula. So there's a SMART formula that allows you to help with your focus. So SMART stands for specific. What exactly needs to be done? So once you know what you want to do, you are already 1 point into the game. Okay. Measurable. How will you track your progression of your actual task? Achievable. Is it realistic? Can it be done by the deadline? That's a SMART goal. Like knowing if it's something that needs to have a longer deadline, knowing if it's something that you're gonna be overdoing it, not for because you're not remembering that you got other responsibilities throughout that day. You can't just take the whole focus and put it directly on this. So you have to subjectively decide how you're gonna move with that. So is the deadline achievable? How does it fit with the overall plan or your bigger goal? That's the relevancy of it. And timely. When does it need to be done? Do you have the time? Do you have the space? Do you have the opportunity? Do you? Okay. When you take a large, complex project and break it down to smaller parts, it makes you have the ability to concentrate more. It gives you the ability to get things done. Mm-hmm. It does. The next thing is to be more mindful. Your focus can be very good if you're being mindful of time frames, if you're being mindful of other things you have to do, if you're being mindful of, because I know a lot of people tend to wonder. When you focus on something, the mind tends to wonder. So when you get to a wondering state, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone. Other people do it. It's something that happens all the time. However, those mental vacations often make it harder to focus on the task at hand in front of you. That's where mindfulness comes in. Having a good mindset. Being mindful means maintaining moment to moment awareness of where you are and what you're doing, which is great when you try to stay focused. Being mindful. You know that you don't have time to sit up here and be dreaming and going into robot land and thinking about things that you ain't got no business thinking about right now. You know you don't have time for that. So set a timer, put yourself on a time of how long you're going to give yourself to do this. Once that timer goes off, and if you see that if you still have more to do, set a timer again. Do not give yourself time to get lost in something else. Finish the task at hand. Focus. All right. It's hard for some people, boy, and I'm telling you, and it ain't because you ADHD, it ain't because you autistic, it ain't because you're not any of those things. It's simply you just lack attention to detail, and your lack of attention to detail is causing you to shift your mindset and to make you think that it's something going on up there when it's really not. It's really not. Make a to-do list. When you make a to-do list and you start checking that stuff off, now you know that you're accomplishing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared of the to-do list. It's going to be a reminder of what you need to be focused on. If that's what scares you, oh well. Don't be scared of the to-do list. You got to face it. The items on your to-do list can add up quickly. So you're going to be trying to mark them off as quick as they come on. Throughout the day, my to-do list shrinks. because I'm getting it done. You got to get it done. And I write a to-do list. I write a day-to-day thing of what I'm going to be focused on that day. And as I'm going through it, I mark it off. But I have to do that. And then sometimes I come in the morning and other things take precedent. So I got to put that at the top of the list. But regardless of the fact, things are going to get done. And I'm going to write my list and check it twice. But you got to have a focus. You got to have a way to remind yourself that this has to be done. This does take precedent. All right. Focus on similar tasks. If you know that you are a person who cooks and you have meats, you got 5 different meats to cook, go ahead and cook all the meats at one time. You know what I'm saying? Do things that are similar so you don't have to go back to that thing. When you go over here to your starches, it makes it easier when you're doing all the same type of starches at one time. So gradually get yourself familiar with having a schedule that allows you to be flex, but also allows you to be stern so that you can get the things done that you need to get done. And if you need to change it up, yes, change it up. But the type of schedule you want to set for yourself, you want to be able to make it to where you can do this, and if this don't happen, I can go back and do this. You know, you definitely want to have that type of focus. Because working on multiple tasks simultaneously comes with a cost, whether a reduction in performance, accuracy, or speed. So it's going to be something that's going to lose some of your focus in those tasks. So if you're going to have to do things simultaneous, you don't want to do things that don't equate. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said if you got all the meats to cook all the meats, because those things equate. You know, you ain't gonna forget about the meatloaf if you know you're doing all meats. But if you get over here and you're doing if you're doing chicken and ribs, and then you come over and you start doing the macaroni and cheese and the potato salad, you might forget all about that damn meatloaf because you done moved on. All right. Yes. And then, like I said, focusing on those smaller tasks gets you to a point of having a schedule, knowing how you want to move with things, and seeing how fast you can get those things done. So your focus is important. Now, what you're able to give to your focus is extremely going to fall on you. It's going to be on you. You may also find that the following behavioral practices may help you approach your task with greater engagement and attention. So, what I was about to say. Oh, it was about this list right here because I was about to say something about the disorders. But if you find that your situation comes with other elements, where we said in the beginning of the conversation, where it goes from anxiety to depression to autism to learning disabilities or disorders, conditions that cause you to get tired, where you are dealing with post-traumatic stress or concentration deficient disorder, anything that you're going through or having to deal with that is throwing your focus off, and it's been happening for some time now, you may want to go and get that checked out. There may be other issues going on with you beyond the fact that you can't focus, because a regular focus is just basically discipline. Get yourself disciplined to get to a point where you need to focus and you got that focus. But a person who has to have direction on focusing or direction into getting to focus, then it may be other things going on. Okay. So I just want to be a reminder that if you feel like there are different issues that are gauging how you deal with things, or different things that are gauging your attention and taking your attention away from things that you should be focused on, I would tell you that you may need to reach out to someone. And if you have a doctor, your doctors can give you a referral to other things, but you definitely want to get that checked done. You don't want it to be something that is causing other issues in your life because you can't focus in this manner. You don't want other things to start being a root because that's gonna, I meant to be a branch, because that's gonna be the root of your issue, and you're ignoring it. Okay, so yeah, that's my show today, guys. I just want to do a quick show with you all today to talk about focus and to get you and make sure that you are taking the time to focus, and that means on yourself too, yourself, your wealth, your health, all of those things. You want to be extremely focused on those things when it comes to you. Don't just allow, yourself to be the magnet that goes off and help and attracts to everything that needs attention or need your focus. Make sure that you're taking the opportunity to give yourself some of that focus too. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all next Wednesday. We still gonna be in Pisces season, baby. Don't take it for granted. Get you one. All right. I will see y'all next Wednesday. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and thank y'all for tuning in. As always, SW Live. Peace.